Hi y'all, so I'm going to do something a little bit different today. I'm still trying to get everybody really focused on that goal of getting to 20 minutes of reading a day, but today I actually have a book that I'm going to be reading in Spanish and in English, so don't log off right now if you don't speak Spanish. That is okay. I promise. I'm going to be reading each page, so I'm going to read it from this book. It's in Spanish, so if you've never heard of Peter Pan before, that's what it is, Peter Pan y el Capitan Garfio. And then I have this book, which is in English, Peter Pan and Captain Hook. So, whether you speak Spanish or not, you can follow along for this read aloud. Please don't log off because you don't speak Spanish, okay? I'm going to read the Spanish first. So if you speak Spanish, you're going to understand it. It'll be kind of different if you don't have a lot of books that you do get to read in Spanish. If you don't speak Spanish, try to think about what's happening based on the pictures. So I'm going to flip to the first page. Well, here's this. Where is this? Just tell me what these words say. You can't even see them probably. It's Neverland. You all already knew that. I didn't even have to tell you. If you've ever heard of Peter Pan, you probably knew that. If you've never heard of Peter Pan, well, it's called La Tierra de Inca Jamás. Neverland in English. Okay, so here's my first page. Think about what you see happening in the story if you don't speak Spanish. But either way, I'm going to go ahead and read this to you. And I'm going to just go ahead and turn my screen here so that I can really show you all the pictures and the words. Hopefully this is flipped so that you all can read them later. It says, Era la hora del día más agradable para los niños. Sentada junto a la Jimena, Wendy se disponía a entretener a sus hermanos. Cuéntanos un cuento de piratas, dijo Juan. No, que sea de indios, gritó Miguel. Y Wendy contó a sus hermanos un cuento donde había indios y piratas, pero que comenzaba con Peter Pan. Okay, so now let's hear that same story, but in English. It was the best time of the day. The lamps were lighted in the bedroom. Wendy sat by the fire. Tell us a story, Wendy, said her brother John. A pirate story. With Indians in it, cried Michael. So Wendy told her brothers a story. It had pirates and Indians in it. But it began with Peter Pan. Here's our next one. Peter Pan era un muchacho muy alegre y valiente. Además, estaba dotado con un don de volar. Volaba alto o bajo. Corría en pos de las nubes. Oh, sorry, trying to get this in there. There you go. Perseguía a las estrellas. Y se deslizaba por el arco iris. La mejor amiga de Peter era un hada I'm so sorry, I cannot see these. Diminuta llamada Campanita, que también sabía volar. En cambio, no sabía hablar, pero se comunicaba con Peter mediante destellos y tintineos. Y Peter siempre la entendía. All right, let's hear our next page, or the same page in English. Remember, if you're just trying to figure out what these things are in Spanish, look at those pictures, okay? This one's a silly one. Oh my goodness. Peter Pan was a boy. He was very brave. He could crow like a rooster. Best of all, he could fly. He could fly high He could fly low. He could race with the clouds and chase the stars. He could slide down the rainbow. Peter's best friend was the tiny fairy Tinkerbell. Tink could fly too. She never talked, but she would stand on Peter's hands. Tink lights flashed, and she made tinkling sounds. Peter could always understand her. Peter y Campanita vivían en la tierra de nunca más, que era una región mágica. En sus bosques habitan indios. Un barco pirata se mecía sobre las olas junto a la roca de la calavera, y allí estaba también el árbol del ahorcado. Peter vivía en una cueva secreta debajo del árbol del ahorcado. Con él vivían los muchachos perdidos, que si bien no tienen padres, tenían a Peter y la Campanita, y toda la seguridad y comodidad que deseaban en aquella cueva. Here's the whole picture for this one. Okay, let's read that page in English. What do you all think was happening there? Well, they're telling us where Peter and Tink live. They live in Neverland. It was a magical place. Indians camped in the woods. There was a pirate ship in the bay near Skull Rock. And there was Hangman's Tree. Peter's home was a secret cave under Hangman's Tree. He lived in the cave with his friends. These friends were the Lost Boys. They had no mothers or fathers, but they did have Peter and Tink, and the safe, secret cave. Cierto día, Peter y Campanitas salieron a dar un paseo. Los muchachos perdidos que no saben volar buscaron otra manera de divertirse. «Y así», dijo uno, «vamos a luchar contra los indios. Los atacaremos por sorpresa», dijo otro. «Los atraparemos», dijo uno más. What are they saying? What are they about to do? It looks like Peter is going to leave. I wonder what the Lost Boys are going to do. One day, Peter and Tink went out flying. The Lost Boys could not fly. They tried to think of something else to do. Something that would be fun. I know, said one. Let's go fight the Indians. We can creep up on them, said another. We'll catch them, cried a third. Y así, deslizándose sigilosamente, avanzaron hacia el campamento indio. No hagan ruido, dijo uno. Tal vez hay un piel rojo escondido detrás de cada árbol. Se equivocaba, no había un solo indio oculto detrás de cada árbol, sino adentro de cada árbol. Los pieles rojos salieron de los árboles y atraparon a los muchachos. ¡Auxilio, Peter Pan! gritaban los chicos. ¡Campanita, ayúdanos! They began creeping through the woods. They were going toward the Indian camp. Shh, said one of the boys. An Indian may be hiding behind every tree. There was not an Indian behind every tree. There was an Indian inside every tree. The Indians leaped out and caught the lost boys. "Help! Peter!" shouted the boys. "Tinkerbell! Save us!" Pero Peter y Campanita no oían a los muchachos porque estaban muy lejos, en la roca de la calavera. "Mira, Campanita", dijo Peter, y este momento señalando hacia lo lejos. Lo que Campanita vio fue una lancha en la que iba el terrible pirata Capitán Garfio, enemigo de Peter Pan, junto con su miserable compañero gordo. Aquellos malvados llevan prisionero a Tigría, la hermosa princesa india. What's happening here? Doesn't look good. Peter and Tinkerbell did not hear the boys. Peter and Tink were on Skull Rock. "Look," said Peter. He pointed across the water. Tink looked and saw a boat. In it, she saw Peter's enemy, the terrible pirate Captain Hook. She also saw Hook's mate, Mr. Smee. And she saw Tiger Lily, the beautiful Indian princess. Tiger Lily was tied with thick ropes. The poor girl was Captain Hook's prisoner. De pronto se escuchó un extraño sonido. Tic-tac, tic-tac. Quien lo producía era un cocodrilo que nadaba cerca de la lancha. El capitán desembarcó de un salto y trepó a la roca. "Ese cocodrilo me sigue a todas partes", gritó. "Quiere comerme." Uh-oh. Suddenly, there was a loud tick-tock, tick-tock. It came from a crocodile swimming near the boat. Captain Hook jumped out of the boat. He climbed up on the rock. "That crocodile follows me everywhere," he cried. "He wants to eat me." Menos mal que se tragó ese reloj, comentó Gordo, que trepó a la roca con Tigría a cuestas. Así, el tic-tac delata su presencia. "Dime dónde vive Peter Pan, o jamás saldrás de esta isla", dijo Garfio a Tigría. "¡Sorpresa!", gritó Peter Pan, descendiendo a lo alto para hundirle la gorda. Oh my goodness, la gorda a Gordo hasta la nariz. "Lucky for you he swallowed that clock," said Smee. "The tick-tock always tells you when he is near." Smee lifted Tiger Lily onto Skull Rock. "Tell me where Peter Pan lives," said Hook, "or you will never leave Skull Island." "You codfish!" shouted Peter, flying down. He pulled Smee's cap over his eyes. Luego, abalándose sobre Garfio, lo arrojó al agua. Después, con toda calma, desató a Tigría y remontó el vuelo con ella en brazos. Then he flew over to Captain Hook. He pushed him right into the water. Peter untied Tiger Lily. He carried her up, up, and away from Skull Rock. Remember that the words between the Spanish and the English are not exactly the same. So if you're thinking that they don't sound quite right, that's because they're not exactly the same, but they're close. Cuando llegaron al campamento indio, vieron que los muchachos perdidos estaban allí, atados. También se encontraba el padre de Tigría, el gran jefe, adornado con impresionante penacho. Salvaste a Tigría, dijo el jefe. Como muestra de gratitud, soltaré a tus amigos y daremos un gran fiesta. Pero, ¿dónde estaba Campanita? Peter flew with Tiger Lily to the Indian camp. The Lost Boys were there. They were still tied up. Tiger Lily's father was at the camp too. He was a great chief with many feathers in his headdress. You saved Tiger Lily, he said. Because of that, we will let your friends go. We will have a feast and sing and dance. But where was Tinkerbell? La hadita estaba en la roca de la calavera. Se divertía viendo cómo el cocodrilo perseguía al Capitán Garfio. En eso, el capitán logró salir del agua temblando del miedo. Campanita reía a carcajadas. De pronto, Gordo se acercó a Campanita y la atrapó con su gorra. Anímese, capitán, comentó Gordo. Cierto que Tigría escapó, pero ahora tenemos algo todavía mejor. Nada menos que a Campanita. Tink had stayed at Skull Rock. She was watching Captain Hook swim away from the tick-tocking crocodile. The captain leaped from the water. He was shaking with fear. Tinkerbell laughed and laughed. Suddenly, Mr. Smee popped his cap over Tink. She stopped laughing. Cheer up, Captain, said Smee. We have lost Tiger Lily, but we have someone better. We have Peter Pan's best friend, Tinkerbell. This is not good, is it? Oops. Sorry, y'all. Mess. Cuando Peter Pan y los muchachos perdidos salieron del campamento indio y se dirigieron a su casa, y en plena noche echaron de menos a Campanita, que siempre les iluminaba en camino con su luz. Ha de estar en la casa, indició Peter. Al llegar en árbol de ahorcado, uno de los muchachos pisó cierto hongo que estaba junto al camino y oprimió el capullo de una flor que crecía junto al árbol. De esa manera se abrió la puerta de la cueva secreta. It's very sad that they had to go home so quiet or so in the dark. Peter Pan and the Lost Boys were leaving the Indian camp. It was very late. The deep forest was dark. They needed Tinkerbell's flashing lights to show them the way. Tink must be at home, said Peter. They came to Hangman's Tree. They stepped on a mushroom beside the path. Then they pressed a knothole near a low branch. The door to the secret cave opened. Look at how dark it is as they're trying to go home. Do you all think Tinkerbell is going to be there? Not sure either. Now, it has been 20 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and keep reading on this video. So if you would like, you can keep watching, or you can pause and finish it another day. That is up to you. But I'm really proud of y'all for watching. Pero no había nadie. El conocido tintido de campanita no llegó a sus oídos. ¿Qué le habrá pasado?, preguntó Peter Pan. Miguelín interrumpió a Wendy y le preguntó, ¿qué le pasó a Campanita? ¿Qué le hizo el Capitán Garfio? Se la llevó a su barco. ¿Y luego? Quiso saber Juan. ¿Qué pasó? ¿Dónde está Campanita? No jingling, ringing sound greeted them. No fairy light flashed out to cheer them. The cave was empty. What has happened to Tinkerbell? Cried Peter Pan. Michael pulled at Wendy's hand. What did happen to Tinkerbell? He asked. What did Captain Hook do with her? He took her to the pirate ship, said Wendy. What then? Asked John. Y el Capitán Garfio y Gordo habían fraguado en plan. Tratarían de capturar a Peter Pan cuando fuera a rescatar a Campanita. No. Así pues, encerrarán a Campanita en una linterna afuera de la cabina del barco. Allí estaba la pobre hadita, tintineando y cintilando del miedo. This is one of those moments when you can think about her emotions. So look at Tinkerbell. Does she look happy? If you were Tinkerbell right now, empathize with her. What would you be feeling if you were Tinkerbell? Captain Hook and Mr. Smee plotted a terrible plot. They wanted to make Peter Pan come to the pirate ship to save Tinkerbell. Then they would capture Peter. The pirates locked Tinkerbell in a lantern outside the ship's cabin. There she stayed, tinkling and shining and calling for help. Y Peter Pan la buscaba. Cruzó la tierra de nunca jamás de parte a parte y por fin descubrió la lucía que brillaba en el barco pirata. Sin perder un solo instante, Peter se dirigió al árbol de ahorcado. Garfio tiene prisionera a Campanita, exclamó. Tenemos que rescatarla. But now Peter Pan was looking for Tinkerbell. He flew here and there across Neverland. Finally, he saw the fairy light on the pirate ship. Quickly, Peter flew to Hingman's cave. Captain Hook has Tinkerbell, he told the Lost Boys. We have to save her. It sounds like he did exactly what Captain Hook wanted him to. Los muchachos perdidos nadaron sigilosamente hacia el barco y, trepando por una cuerda, llegaron a cubierta. Peter Pan, mientras tanto, voló y trepó a la punta del mástil, y desde allí gritó: «Garfio, marinero del agua dulce». «Es Peter Pan», masculó Garfio, saltando a cubierta. «Gordo, dispara el cañón». I wonder what he just asked for Smee to do. What did you all think? Based on what you saw and what you heard, maybe what you remember, for those of you who aren't fluent in Spanish, maybe you don't know. What did Smee just ask? What does he want? Let's see. Quietly, the boys swam from the shore to the pirate ship. Quietly, they climbed up the rope and onto the deck. Peter Pan flew to the top of the mast. "Hook, you're a codfish!" he crowed. The pirates rushed out onto the deck. "Peter Pan! It's Pan!" shouted Hook. "Fire the cannon, Mr. Smee!" So what did he ask for? The cannon. That's not good. Así iba a hacerlo Gordo, pero uno de los muchachos le arrebató la bala. Gordo corrió tras él, pero otro de los muchachos lo acosó con un espadín. Peter Pan descendió y, acercándose a Garfio, le cortó la pluma del sombrero. El pirata, asustado, cayó al mar, pero ¿quién estaba esperándolo allá abajo? Smee tried to fire the cannon, but one of the boys ran off with his cannonball. Another boy chased Smee around the deck with a shiny sword. Peter Pan flew down from the mast. He cut the feather off Captain Hook's hat. The frightened pirate fell into the sea. But who was waiting in the water? Make a prediction. Who do you all think is going to be in the water? ¡El cocodrilo! Desde luego. Desesperado, Garfio echó a nadar para ponerse al salvo. Nadaba con todas las fuerzas y, quién sabe, quizá todavía esté nadando. Peter Pan y los muchachos perdidos sacaron la campanita a la linterna y se dirigieron a su cueva secreta. The tick-tocking crocodile was waiting. Captain Hook swam for his life. He swam and he swam and he swam. For all we know, he is swimming still. Peter Pan and the Lost Boys let Tinker Bell out of the lantern. Then they hurried to their secret cave under Hangman's Tree. Dos más páginas. Estamos en el fin del libro. We only have 2 more pages. We're at the end of the book. ¿Qué pasó después?, preguntó Miguelín. Peter Pan, Campanita y los muchachos perdidos se fueron a dormir, dijo Wendy, y eso es precisamente lo que nosotros vamos a hacer. Al poco rato, ya que Wendy había metido a sus hermanos a la cama, Juan preguntó: ¿De veras existe Peter Pan? ¿Llegaremos a verlo algún día? Tal vez, repuso ella. What happened then? Asked Michael. Peter Pan and Tinker Bell and the Lost Boys went to sleep, said Wendy, and that's where you are going. She tucked her brothers into bed. Is there really a Peter Pan? Asked John. Will we ever see him? Perhaps someday, said Wendy. Y este es el página final en español y después en inglés. This is the last page in Spanish and then in English. Oh, lo siento. Más tarde, un leve tintineo despertó a Wendy. Una lecedía pasó tintilando por su ventana, seguida de la sombra de un muchacho. Wendy sonrió. Por fin había visto a Peter Pan, o por lo menos a su sombra, y había oído el tintineo de campanita. Satisfecha, Wendy volvió a cerrar los ojos y pronto se quedó dormida. Okay. In English? Later that night, a soft tinkling sound woke Wendy. She saw a flickering light. Then a boy's shadow flew past the window. Wendy smiled. She had finally seen Peter Pan. At least she had seen a shadow. And she had heard Tinker Bell's tinkling sound. Wendy's eyes closed again, and she was fast asleep. Alright, you all, I really hope that you enjoyed that book, and obviously we did get a little bit over 20 minutes of reading, so whether you watched this all in one day or if you broke it up into 2 days, that was an amazing book, for me at least. Peter Pan was always one of my favorite stories growing up, so I thought it was really cool to have the opportunity to have a book that I could read in both Spanish and English, whether you listen to both or just one. So something that I really want to challenge you to do is just think about how you can kind of build on your language skills. So if you do speak Spanish, how did you use the Spanish book to help you understand the English book? If you don't speak Spanish, how did you use what you were hearing when I was reading the Spanish and the pictures that you were seeing to tell you what was going to happen in the English book? Okay? So, you know, it's maybe kind of weird. You're like, I'm hearing this language that I have no idea what's happening. And then when you're in the English book, you're like, I still have no idea what's happening. That's okay. Try to learn as much as you can. Use those context clues. So I was breaking things down a little bit, trying to say predictions, trying to say different points. Use those things to help you. Make those connections yourself. That's what's going to help you learn. That's what's going to really make your comprehension and your ability to read go from here all the way up as high as it can go. So just keep working on it, and I am so proud of you all. So just keep going with those 20 minutes every day. So I will have more videos for you all tomorrow.